May this message from your higher self find you at the right time. Trust it. These readings are timeless. So whenever you are seeing this, it's perfect. Hi, friend. My name is Angelica. And whether you are new to my channel or returning, welcome. These transmissions are transmissions of energy, of code, of remembrance to help you along your journey in the highest and best way to remember. So please use your intuition and your discernment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, okay? And I'm also excited to announce that all of my offerings are now bookable. You can now book one-on-one session with me, whether it's a guidance session, healing session, or a master session. I have a little bit of something up there for everyone. So if you feel called to work with me one-on-one, it's all there in the link in the bio and the description and everything. So let's get into the reading for today. This is a lot. So I'm going to do my best to articulate what's going on here. Okay. So I'm actually using the archetypes. I'm actually using the archetypes deck. But I'm also using some tarot clarifier cards. So here we got the tear. Yeah. The tear. I'm going to actually, let's see. Do I want to read this? The tear. Tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation or situation to break into the next level of intimacy and vulnerability. Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their eternal embrace. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do, a sinking into disappointment or despair that, once acknowledged, will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. Okay, so the tear is this thing under the surface that is needing, it's almost like a waterfall under the surface. And that tear, once you start that tear, it starts breaking down those walls or defenses, right? I know for me that's what happens when I might be defensive or something, or I might be, I have my hackles up for whatever reason, right? I'm defensive for whatever reason. Something hits me in a certain way, and that allows the tears to flow, and it allows me to open up and soften. This is saying that there is something underneath that still needs to be acknowledged. Okay, there is something there, right? Let's see, is this? So many people are in transition. So whether you're in transition, transformation, whatever it is, I feel like it's because most people are in this transitionary times. We're having to say bye to people, places, things, circumstances, jobs, whatever it is. And that's bringing up a lot of grief, of needing to process the loss. And also realizing that sometimes it's not a loss, it's actually a gain, but we still need to grieve. We still need to go through that process, okay? Here's the thing. When I was looking into this card, the tear, what's needing to come up underneath this archetype is you need to choose. You are being asked to choose. Which one do you want? Do you want this one? Do you want your higher timeline, or do you want the lower timeline? My dear, and I say it with the utmost empathy because I'm going through the same thing. If you want the higher timeline, you're going to have to let go of this other thing. Okay. And that's going to require shedding. Okay. That's going to require letting go. That might require sinking into that disappointment and saying, this is not the thing that I thought it was going to be, or that I wanted it to be once upon a time. And that can strike a real chord within us and help those tears to begin to flow. But make no mistake, these tears that you need to shed are there under the surface, and it's connected to a choice that you have to make. Okay? Or maybe you've already made it and you're kind of just balancing them. You're kind of in the middle, in that middle between the two timelines, just for now. Okay? But maybe you've already made a choice, or maybe you haven't. But either way, make no mistake, if you haven't, you need to make a choice. Okay? That's where the tear is going to come from, because you made a choice and said, okay, I got to let this thing go. And that'll soften you and your inner world up into that next layer of what needs to unfold. Okay? Once you choose, you will have chosen one thing. This is what you want to do, is you want to choose the one thing and focus all of your efforts here. Okay? I know it's really sad to let go of this other thing, but you, my friend, need to focus on one thing at a time. Just one. That other thing wasn't the thing. It was splitting your energy. It was distracting you. And it was pulling your energy from being a potent fruit or bearing potent fruits. Okay? You need to choose just one. Once you choose the one and you move towards that, right? Then you find the pearl. Emotional fulfillment. Then you find the pearl. This is all coming from, though, your inner judgment. Okay, you already know what source, what your guides are saying, where you need to go, and where you pre-planned, prior to this life, to be. You know that you meant to be on that higher timeline. That came from your own higher self. That came from source. That came from you. Okay? But there's something underneath the surface that still needs to be. It feels like it's been some of you have already touched on it several times. Some of you haven't at all reached this spot right here. But make no mistake, whatever it is, there's something there. Once you know it, or once you get there, you'll know it. Okay? But some of you guys have already tapped into what it is. There's just a deeper layer. And especially I'm hearing after this Scorpio full moon, trust that it's going to surface. Okay? But this came down as judgment from you, from your higher self. This is where you want to be. So guess what? Your human has to make a choice and take the loss. But that's going to create this softening as the tear begins to fall. Okay? And some of, like again, some of you have already been crying, already felt the tears of this. And it's kind of like, to me, I see it as a gift of being able to not just have this thing ripped out and then you have to cope. It's like this slow detaching. And then once it's done, it's done. But it's like this gift of being able to slowly detach rather than having it, ripped out from underneath us. Okay. So where are we going to go next? Are we going to go into, okay, the vow. It doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter. Okay. So there was something in a past life. You made a vow. You made some kind of vow in a past life. This is coming up as karmic. It's coming up as karmic, really. This is maybe attached to a person, right? We're holding on We're holding on to this group of hands. But here's the thing. It feels like it also, like if this was the solar plexus, there's a hole, there's a leak, right? There's a hole and a leak in your solar plexus. And that's because you made a vow one time in a past life to be in anxiety and worry about everything. This is a disempowered version of you from another life, or maybe this life, whatever resonates, right? To me, I'm getting strong past life karma, getting strong. You made a vow to never be in your power. Okay, you made a vow never to be in your power again. And when you think about those times, or think about how good it can be, right? You go into nostalgia. You think about how disempowered you were. It's familiar. There's a familiarity of being disempowered, right? There's a nostalgia. There's a familiarity going on. If you see the golden glowies, the golden glowies are all over, right? Just surrounding her. She's trapped. She's not allowed to actually feel happy, joyous, in alignment, whatever alignment feels like. Instead, she's stuck in the familiar, feeling like, I can't go forward, I can't go back, but I'm stuck of thinking of better times, even though better times may not have been so great, right? It's almost like this feeling of being nostalgic over times that on the surface seem like, oh, they were really good times, but when you like delve into them, maybe they weren't that great, right? So somewhere along the way, you made a vow, and it kept you in this limitation of lack, poverty. You know, I'm not seen. I'm afraid of being seen. I don't want to be seen. I want to stay invisible. All of the things, the gamut, whatever might resonate for you. You made a vow to be in that. And that's what's actually leaking your solar plexus energy, because you're not in your confident energy. You're not in your power. Your power is being outsourced. Your power is in memories that are not here and now. They can, I would say, because there's a different way. There's a way that you could utilize nostalgia and memories surfacing to empower you, but this isn't. This is coming in as, I'm just stuck in the familiar, and that feels good because that also feels nostalgic, and it feels comfortable. But here's the thing, what you're really looking for, my friend, what you're actually looking for is this energy. You're actually looking for community. This isn't community. This almost feels like a lost love from a past life. This could be connected to to family, right? To friends, to whoever you had in that other life. But this feels connected to that other life. And so you're searching and you're searching and you're searching for that thing. But all it gets you is heartbreak, is worry, is stress, is anxiety. This is what you're actually looking for. Community. This is what you're actually looking for. This is the new vow. 1441 on the clock. When I said that, this is actually the new vow. The new vow, my friend, is for you to have a strong, vibrant, resilient community that supports you in all that you are, in all that you are. That's the vow, is to find that, to create that. This old stuff is stuff that is through your own judgment. You're making that choice, right? Through making that choice to choose only one thing, you're choosing this, right? Not the disempowered nostalgia where you're just comfortable and you're afraid to do anything else because you're just comfortable. All right. With all of that, there is this question, right? There's this riddle in your mind, right? There's this question. There's this riddle. And I'm going to read the riddle because this one was really interesting. The riddle. Where is the riddle? Oh, it's right here. The riddle. When the riddle is present, one must stop searching for the right answer. It cannot be found, and ultimately it is not important. Rather, there must be a shift from the literal to the metaphorical, from logic to mythic. You are thinking too small and too literally about the situation. The riddle card appears when the energy is deep and mysterious, like the elusive wisdom in a Zen koan. Focusing harder won't do it. Neither will increased effort. Time, surrender, and humor are your only allies. What feels like the most pressing dilemma won't reveal its deeper wisdom for a long time. Eventually you'll learn a profound lesson from the riddle. For now, get comfortable with the limitations of your intellect and the reality of not knowing. It may in fact be the only reality there is. Okay? Sorry about that. So basically, with having to choose, right? With having to choose the thing and create a new vow for yourself, you're finding that there's this question, this riddle in your mind. Well, what is this ultimately leading to? What do I do? Maybe, honestly, I'm hearing soul purpose. So you might be someone who is wanting to find your soul purpose, is looking for your soul purpose, or is actively pursuing that in whatever way that looks like for you. But there's this overarching question. What does my work look like? What do I do? How am I help? What? This is kind of feels like God is coming in and saying, well, you're not going to know the answer to that. You can't see the forest for the trees because I know the outcome, God is saying. Or we know the outcome. God is more a we. We know the outcome. You don't, but you're not supposed to know. If you know it, you might want to control it a little bit too much. So just know that the riddle is that the tower is falling. You can just let it fall. You can't really, there's no more control, right? Even if you did know the answer to the riddle in your mind, you couldn't control that. You can't go out and be like, oh, okay, I'll do this, because it would be from, you would be taking action from a space of fear and scarcity. Okay, so it's best to just let the riddle be the riddle, surrender, and let the things fall that need to fall in your life. Okay, and that specifically goes for, right, the tear. Whatever choice that you made over here, that other thing needs to fall. Okay, you made that choice. Okay, you made that judgment. You made that judgment call. Because as that tower falls, There is new life. There is a new project. There's new creativity. There's new inspiration coming in for you. Okay? This is beautiful. But that riddle in your mind, you're just going to have to let it be this funny, um, I don't know, what do you call it? This kind of like cosmic joke that you just won't get for a while. Who knows how long? Um, but I will say something comes up around like, every cycle, every time a cycle ends, then we see the clarity. We just went through from the snake to the fire horse, right? Ending that 9 year of the snake, going into the 1 year of the fire horse. Well, when you complete a whole 10-year cycle, you can look back if you're conscious, if you're taking notes, if you're aware of it, you can actually look back and say, "Oh my God, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. All of these things came together and unfolded in this really mysterious, magical way. And then I learned all these lessons. I did all these things. So much clarity. Oh my God, that. If that didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened." So much is going to be revealed. But right now, you just have to let the riddle, the question in your mind, be a question in your mind. That's part of the tension. I feel like what I'm tapping into feels like that's creative tension. You're creating a new life, right? You're creating new life, new inspiration. That means you have a goal, and that future self has a goal. You're creating tension, right? And all you have to do is release the resistance, and then you'll just kind of automatically flow towards creating that reality. I'm not going to get into all of that, but this is the work that I do. But yeah, that new inspiration's coming in. Just go with this. Go with the new inspiration. Create from here. Okay? This is also where it feels like you're going, like the animal came out. Okay? This is saying like the wild one within. The one the version of you that is more wild, less tamed, more tapped in to their primal self is what I hear. Ooh, excuse me. We are mammals. The hair on our chest and between our legs reminds us so. We try hard to deny our unrefined animalistic nature, yet through this archetype we tap into power and direction. Activating the animal within means reawakening our relationship to nature and the most broad and embodied sense. Drinking from waterfalls, roaring at the moon, opening eyes underwater, eating berries from the vine. The life force of our planet begs us to set down the devices, the constraints, and the social constructs and remember the warm blood that pulses through our veins. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skins. If this all sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that when Buddha became enlightened, he roared like a great lion. Okay, so this is the innermost animal you that longs to connect to nature. So this is what I'm hearing with this. Oh, actually, this says it all, right? This isn't just confidence. This is you in your embodied wild nature, right? Out roaming with the animals, out in nature, under the blue sky, on the green grass. That's you. That's you. This feels like you as the animal embodied. That more wild spirit within you being honored. Being honored. We have become too tame in our domesticated lives, and we don't drink from waterfalls enough, right? We don't go outside enough. So this is your invitation at this time, my friend, to begin to go outside more. If you're in the northern hemisphere, then you know it's springtime and it's about to be summer. Summer's around the corner. In the southern hemisphere, if you're in that hemisphere, then do what you can, right? Go where you feel called, and that can mean being creative, being a little bit more creative, because sometimes it's a little too cold. So do, no matter where you are, do what you can with what you have. Okay? But this is an invitation to go ground, be out in nature way more, because your inner animal has been feeling disconnected, wants to reconnect, wants to like rekindle this inner fire, this inner this confidence, right? But like this is also coming through as like lion energy of like, I know who I am as a human, as a mammal, as a star being, at like I know all of me and I'm grounded here, right? It feels like full embodied wisdom, embodying that, like even our aspects from the stars. So take that as how it resonates. Some of you might resonate with that, some of you might not, but that is the message coming through, right? It's time for you to choose, and in that choosing, there might open up there might need to be a deeper conversation or something, but like you need to choose because there's something else in that choosing that's going to allow you to shed those tears and to really start to redirect your power in a powerful way, in a much more powerful way, but in a much more, I want to say, consolidated way that's not spreading your freaking energy all over the place to the point where you are scattered and you're unfocused. Okay? With that, there's some definite reconstructing of your solar plexus, right? Remember, what you're looking for is a vibrant, resilient community where you can be held and seen and heard in all of your glory and all of your wisdom. This is what you're looking for, okay? With all of that, all of the questions that it brings up in your mind, remember, let the questions be. Sometimes it's best to leave the questions unanswered, okay? If you got a big riddle going on in your mind, it's saying it's not going to be answered. I almost feel like a whole nother cycle needs to go by for you to like be able to see it. And I feel like you're in the beginning of a new cycle, so you won't see it for some time, okay? All you have to know, focus your energy on whatever is represented by this image. That brings you life, that feels like it's blossoming, that feels like it needs to just burst from you. Something, your magic, your medicine, your message that you want to share, whatever that is, focus all of your energy there, okay? Because in that, you're going to receive so many blessings. But in that, you also become the Queen of Wands, okay? Get some more sun, get your feet on some earth, but also know that in focusing on this, you become this. Get outside, allow yourself to become less tamed, because it feels like we've all been so tamed that we're afraid. of this setting free, this liberation, of becoming wild again. Like we're afraid of it. We're afraid of our own nature. That might be a good question to bring up. Where are you afraid of your own wild nature? Because it's something that is wanting to be liberated. This can be any aspect, whether it's relationships, career, money, health, whatever it is, my friend. Okay? So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. My friends, we've done another one. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, you can now book one-on-one sessions with me, whether it's a healing session, a guidance session, or a master session. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.